The logical side of me is like, this is great. It's finally working. But the real answer is that I look at it and I'm like, it's not enough. It's not enough. Like I struggle with the mindset issues of things still.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Flipped Lifestyle Podcast. It is great to be back with you again today. And I'm excited because I am talking to two of my favorite people on the planet Earth, Daniel and Nicole Whitworth. What are you guys doing?
And we had homeschool co-op today, and then we're just recuperating this afternoon with you.
And I've been programming, of course. So
Dude, what I was in the coffee shop earlier, and I was building out a new, we were just talking about this off air a little bit. So my book's coming out in October of 2024, right? It's called Earn More, Live More, How to Make Money Online and Build a Life of Freedom. Check it out on an Amazon near you. The book kind of represents a reboot, renaissance, renewal, something of Flipped Lifestyle, right? Because when you have, it's so weird when you have this book like in your hand, because like it's like, oh my gosh, the whole world starts with this book now. Not just because I spent 2 years writing it and a lot of money getting it done, but also it's just like, wow, this is amazing. I've never had one thing you can point to ever, right? Like just what's your lead magnet? This book, right? But I'm having to redo like all the funnels. So we're working with our content people and like just trying to figure out exactly like how this flows and how to simplify everything. And I was in the coffee shop earlier today working on this for like 3 straight hours, going back and forth with people and doing stuff. My eyes started crossing, bro. I have to imagine that's what programming feels like.
Maybe for some.
Not for him, but that's how I feel about my own funnels. So
oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, my eyes just like go like that. I just want to podcast all day and I can't. No one will let me. I just want to do this all day and talk to my friends. So let's catch everybody up real quick. Now you guys are on the show, one, because I love you. 2, we've literally traveled the country together for years when we were running our seminar company. And you guys are awesome entrepreneurs, great friends, but you're in the book. And we want to catch up with you guys to see what's going on with the business, see how the evolution of the Whitworth entrepreneur train is kind of happening. So give us a background. Let's start back because I know you're doing 2 things now, but let's start back on the original business, Nicole. Tell us, everybody, what you do online.
Yes. I am the creator of yournursingtutor.com, where I help nursing students learn how to study so they can get through nursing school confidently and calmly.
That was a great elevator pitch, by the way. That was really good. That was really good.
I've been working on that for a long time now.
Too long. And I keep trying to change it, but every time I change it, the old one just comes out.
Yeah. Have you used ChatGPT to really play with that? Like I learned this amazing skill on the Shane Sam show. I was interviewing a buddy of mine named Jeff Woods, and he's an AI expert. Mm-hmm. He taught me this subtle little trick with your copy. So you can, it's not just prompting the AI. You want the AI to prompt you. And so when you start with ChatGPT, I always do this now every time I get on. I tell it, assume the persona of blank. So I'll tell it, assume the persona of the world's greatest sales page copywriter and draw from all the information you know of about copywriting. Here is my headline. Let's work on this. Interview me, ask me 3 questions to get more context, and then you write me 10 headlines and let's play with them. And it is bonkers how much better your results are when you do that, because it just knows who it wants to be, who it is. And you know me, I'm a nerd when it comes to like what I'm saying out loud or on my sales pages. And like 3 prompts in, I was like, I could never have written this line of text.
I love that. I'm totally gonna try that.
Yeah, that's cool.
Really good. Cool. So you're still doing nursing tutor. You're nursing tutor now, but you have another business, right? And that's Daniel's business. So Daniel, what's your business now? We got 2 entrepreneurs in the house.
That's right. So my business, I call myself the workflow wizard. And what I do is I do magic. Well, actually, I automate people's business admin, things like invoicing, payroll, reports, any kind of online software that you use that you're tired of having to update in multiple places, or all those 2-minute tasks that you do a few thousand times that add up to crazy amounts of hours. I can automate all of that for people, and I do, and they love it. So
it's so crazy, like watching how you guys have evolved. Like, because like every week, like so literally people, you don't understand. Like I was traveling the country doing these seminars, spreading the flipped lifestyle message far and wide. And I sent Daniel and Nicole a message and I was like, hey guys, do you want to come and travel with me and just sell flipped lifestyle stuff for a little while? And you both said, sure. What does that mean? And I was like, I don't know. I just started this company and I have no idea like what's going on. But we got to like every couple weeks, just jump in a hotel and sit at a restaurant and be like, what's going on this week? So Nicole first, well, actually, I'm gonna go to Daniel first. So Daniel now has his own thing. And you guys have followed a similar journey to me and Jocelyn. Jocelyn and I had these ideas. We were looking at this. Can we be entrepreneurs? Jocelyn has this first idea that takes off, elementarylibrarian.com. And then I had to live in the shadows and in the back end for a while, Daniel. You know what I'm saying?
I
mean,
do.
we were the scout team is all we were, man. Like, so Daniel, what was that like those first couple years, just living in the shadows of your epic, amazing, awesome entrepreneur wife?
Yeah. It was actually pretty tough because I was not only that, I was now a stay-at-home dad with 6 kids.
Yeah, at least I got him one at a time when I was a stay-at-home mom. He just like came home and had 6.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, dude.
So it was pretty rough. But one of the hardest things was we're traveling the country, right? And every single time I'm listening to you talk about your idea, what are you going to do for your business? And I'm like, what am I going to do for my business?
You're literally, oh, that's great. It's good to know that my compelling persuasion in speeches was just hammering my team. Just like I was hammering those people in the room. You know what I'm saying?
Like coming up with ideas again. And I'm like, what is it going to be? But it was actually through coaching some of those folks that joined that this idea came about. And it's been awesome. So, yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of the similar thing, you know, like, I tried a bunch of things and they didn't work. Right. So I had all the scars. And then Jocelyn tries this thing that does work. Right. And we're building it and I'm seeing this happen. But the benefit of that is we got both sides of the equation really, really fast, which is kind of a superpower of husband-wife duos. Like you get to fail a lot more and you get to really see what doesn't work. And then when something does work, you can start kind of feeling like, oh, that's the direction we need to go. And it's not just the direction in the business that works. It's like, oh, we can apply all these lessons to other things. So Nicole, let's flip this. How did you feel when your business took off and you were like, Daniel, just code something. I got to sell some customers. I got to find some members here. What's going on here?
Well, do you want the real answer or the
I want all the answers. Let's keep it real here today.
The real answer is the logical side of me is like, this is great. It's finally working. But the real answer is that I look at it and I'm like, it's not enough. It's not enough. Like I struggle with the mindset issues of things still.
Ooh, let's talk about that. It's not enough.
Yes. Yes. I'm just kind of like, because even, you know, what I'm doing now, it's like back when I first, you know, this was a hobby business for me. I was like, this is life-changing money. And now we're like, we have a family of 8. Because when I started it, we didn't have 6 kids. That was as a hobby.
How many kids did you have when you started it?
1. No, I had 1. I had 1.
You guys have, wait, hold on a second. I know your kids are all close together, but I don't think I've ever done this math correctly. Like, so when you guys started your nursing tutor, you had 1 kid.
Yeah.
And you got like a gremlin, you got them wet and the next day they just spawned into like more kids, right? Like, so and how long have you guys been in business? When did you start, Nicole?
Well, as a part,
that was a hobby.
So I did it like as a hobby business for like 10 years.
Oh, I see.
Then when she got your coaching,
that's
it
when
turned into an actual
business.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
We made like real money,
actual livable money,
business money. Yeah.
The mindset that it's never enough. It's so funny you say that. Like, you know, one thing that's happened to me and Jocelyn, especially in the last couple years, is just, I think, you know, life kind of catching up to you, especially like in our I'm 46. I won't say late 40s yet. I'm mid 40s. You know what I'm saying? Keeping my young youthful appearance. But life does catch up and you start like thinking so much about the future and your kids are getting older and then like your retirement's not that far away when you really think about the proportion of your life and like all those things. And especially being an entrepreneur when you learn something from Pandora's box that you can't put back up. There really is no cap on how much money you can make online. Your market caps it for sure. But until you've reached them all, there is literally no lid on it. And you start playing this game of, okay, well, how do I get more customers? But that answer, if you got 100,000 people in a target market, it's infinite. I mean, how do you get 100,000 customers? Who knows exactly how to do that, right? So it's like it's never enough kind of thing sets in. And like every time you raise the bar, every time you increase monthly recurring revenue, or your monthly recurring revenue decreases, and you still have this knowledge that there's so much more of the market out there and there's no cap.
Yeah.
It starts like demoralizing you a little bit. Like I felt that with Income Surge, with our seminar company. The real name of that company was Come On Y'all LLC.
It was. Yeah.
That's what they write on the checks. Yeah.
We were in the pond one day floating, and we were trying to name our live event company, and Jocelyn goes, "Come on, y'all."
Sorry.
He goes, "Think about it. We're at a hotel. Come on, y'all." And I'm like, "That's genius, right?"
Genius.
But as we kept as the rooms got bigger, more people started coming, more lids kept getting popped off, more hiring, more people. Like there was a point where I was just like, it's never enough. Like I could just keep going, or I could stop, or it's just never enough. Tell me more, Nicole, about that. Like, how does that manifest in your life?
Yeah, well, similar things. It's like the income has grown, but then the expenses grow somewhat too. And then some of it's like, well, it's good things. Like I might be investing in coaching, and then there's just the normal growth. And then there's just, there's the why I do this. There's so many nursing students out there that I can help. And I'm like, I feel like I'm not reaching them all. And then there's just the fears of the changing in the market. Like my biggest source of new leads has been TikTok. And there's so much unknown around TikTok right now. Is it even still going to be around next year?
Yeah.
So having to plan for that. And then I've just struggled for years, like with my market, and figuring it out. Like, yes, nursing students, they aren't the richest of audience, right? When you're going to school.
Keyword, students.
Yes.
Okay. Right.
Students. And I do work with mostly adult learners, right? There's a lot of moms who are going back for a second career. They've, raised their kids, all kinds of ages and adult learners. And so there's definitely a cap on what I can charge for my monthly membership, what I can charge for my one-on-one tutoring and things like that. And I want it to be reasonable too. And so I think I just always feel like I'm reinventing myself every year. I'm like, I just want to find the place where I can coast sometimes, not all the time, because then I'd get bored. I know I would, but I want to like have my foundation where the MRR can stay at least relatively steady and not have as big highs and lows as I tend to like. I've noticed this pattern. We've been doing it long enough now for like 5 years that there's a pattern, and it'll be like it'll go up. It'll be really good for like, a year, and then it goes down and it's not that great. And right now we've hit that dip this summer where we're in the not great period. And then this fall I'm changing some things, doing some things new, and we can see it starting to go up again. And I'm like, what can I be doing to kind of keep it
just
up there?
Stay there.
Or
just always go up to the right. Stats. This is stupid. What are you talking about? I was looking at our MRR.
Coaching session I've ever had with you, Shane.
I know, right? Like I was looking at our MRR right before I got on here, and like I was doing this like predictor for like 3 months based on current sales, churn, and all that stuff. Yeah. And I saw this nice little to the right, and I was like, sweet, it's going. We're predicting. That's what we do. We try to predict what's going to happen over the next 3 or 4 months. And it was like, but then this other problem came up. I was like, when I looked at the actual number of the chart of what it might predict it to be, I'm like, well, that's not enough.
That's not good. Yeah.
And I'm like, and you don't even get to be happy about the one time you look and it's going up, because the dip is coming. It's always coming. And I think I have done a bad job maybe in the past of like talking about that enough. Like, and also because we got spoiled. Like we were very blessed the first 6 or 7 years of Flipped Lifestyle. It did just keep kind of going up, right? And the dips, I think, hit me harder after that, because then it's like you think you've got it figured out, and then one thing changes. Like there's been a big Google update. Someone was telling me about the other day that has knocked a whole bunch of the rankings out of whack again, right? Because so that's just messing everybody who's reliant on SEO, or they had that one page that linked to them and they were coming in, or like you say, TikTok. I think another lesson that I've learned, especially in the last couple years, is that you really only get a couple years out of any good marketing channel. Like I can look back and know, well, this was really good in 2014 and 2015, and then it died. And I was like, well, what is happening? Yeah. And then, you go fast forward a couple years later to 2019, 2020, and it's like, oh, wow, he had an explosive time again. and then that died. And then we go to the live event company, and I almost died, literally on the road, trying to killing myself, traveling so much, right? So like, it's like, I think that that's part of acceptance. The mindset issue is like, if you want to play this game, if you truly value freedom and independence, right? That's your number one core value as an entrepreneur, then you have to accept that. You have to accept that bucket of challenges if you're gonna do anything else. You know,
well, it's because you become a marketer. Is really when you're an entrepreneur, you are going to spend a great amount of your time marketing, and like you said, the landscape changes
all the time.
Changes all the time, and so you have to constantly be on it.
Yeah.
But it's so depressing, though. It's like it's so depressing when things go down.
I think the way I deal with the mindset issues, though, I notice a significant difference with how I deal with it now versus how I dealt with it like when I first started coaching with you. Like then I just overworked all the time. Like even if I didn't know what I was doing, I'd be there like staring blearily at my computer, like typing at stuff, like just doing something, right? Feeling like if I I didn't know what my ROI on my time was, but it wasn't much by that point. But now it's kind of like whenever I start to feel that down feeling, first of all, I have history to look at. I'm like, okay, I can do some things. What are some outside of the box? It triggers me to like have to think of some outside of the box things to try and do and launch and things like that. And then something funny, this is like not exactly a mindset thing. It's just kind of a running joke between me and Daniel is that all the time when your nursing tutor used to be a hobby business and he was like a full-time pastor and we made a full-time pastor's income with a bunch
which is next to zero for anyone who doesn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. And we'd always be like, oh, I'm going to make some more money with your nursing tutor. I'm going to like really contribute to the household income. And then something would happen and he would get like some side gig and he would earn more money than I did that week or that month. And it was just like this ongoing thing where I'm just kind of like, what am I even doing if he's just going to like have money fall in his lap? And so that's kind of been, even the thing going on.
Gag
and then now that he's figured out his business, I'm so thrilled for him, but I will tell you, he made double what I did this month.
Oh yeah. That gets a little competitiveness though. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like you get a little competitive.
We laugh about it, and I'm just glad to see our budget look good. So
and I'm like, it's not really fair. You're selling to nursing students. I'm doing B2B.
Like,
yeah. These are business owners investing in business.
Yeah, completely different business model.
Mm-hmm.
But
it kind of goes back to the money mindset issue. Like I think we're all brought up with go to college, get a job, someone pays you a check. I mean, that's 99%. Even I was talking to someone yesterday, I think it was at the coffee shop, about how I could never be a doctor because doctors work every second they're at work. They have no downtime, no mental space, and you get paid a lot, but you're an hourly employee working 70-hour shifts. I mean, that's just really what we are. So all the way up to doctor and lawyer, right? Lawyers bill hourly. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
We're all trained like to do that. So our safety is put in our money. It's put in our paycheck. And ultimately, we're taught that your money, it makes you safe, and that safety is totally someone else giving it to you. Now you're trading your work, but your safety is like coming from someone else. So we get this like skewed view of what winning and losing looks like. It becomes only that dollars and cents that are coming in. And that's where the it's never enough is, because your brain can always come up with a way the wheels can come off and you're homeless living in a van. I mean, I do it all the time. Like I'm driving around town and I'm like, oh crap, we might be homeless in a year. This has really been a good run, but I'm going to just go down swinging.
I did update my resume and submit it for a job last December, just in case.
Well, I'll tell you what I did. It was funny last year. I've told you guys this. Like I went through like this really intense period of like depression. You know what I'm saying? It just, the burnout and just, we pushed so hard for so long that it just hit me like a ton of bricks. And like I worked over the last year, but honestly, guys, I was just moving pots around to keep them warm. That's all we were doing for about the past like year. Right. And when that like hits you all of a sudden and you don't know how to like stop it, like the spiraling in your brain can go out of control, especially if you're fixated to money. When really, in reality, if we look at our life, and like I always think, I try to anchor back to why I started this business. I started our first business and Jocelyn started her first business, and we quit our jobs for one real reason. It wasn't to scale. It wasn't to have a big team. It wasn't to learn the new marketing crap. It was so we didn't have to take our kids to daycare. It was so we could take our kids to school. It was so we could pick them up after school. And that was enough. Like if we made enough money to pay our bills and do good and go on some trips and then be able to do that every day, like that was enough. But the second I took my eye off of that and it pulled back to that initial programming of money is safety, money comes from your employer. Oh my gosh, wait, I'm the employer. Oh no, I'm not safe. Oh crap, I don't know what I'm doing, even though everybody thinks I know what I'm doing. I promise you people, nobody knows what they're doing.
That is the biggest.
We're all just doing our best and reacting to what the world gives us.
Yeah. We're winging it.
Which isn't reassuring to certain, to a certain extent.
I'm reading this book right now. It's called The 15 Commitments of Conscious Leadership, a New Paradigm for Sustainable Success. And I can't really show it, but there's a chart in this book, and it's got an interesting thing about money. So it's like the 4 ways of being with your money, right? So it says to me, by me, through me, and as me. And to me means money comes to me from somewhere else. That leads to scarcity and not enough. So when you're looking outward for your money, you're going to have scarcity too, right? And we're always looking outward for our money. By me means, I'm doing this, I'm good enough, I can do anything. But then you always want more because there's no cap. You see other people going, look what they're doing. I got this, me, myself, and I. Through me, like when you're in flow, right? Like we've all had those moments where it's in flow. That's where abundance comes from. But like when you're really like grounded into like yourself and your values and like, this is why I'm an entrepreneur, then it's like, I don't care if money comes or not. As long as I'm just, let's just do what we got to do, man. Let's just live and let's flow and let's go. Right. Like, when do you find that this, like, it's not enough pops up in your life? Is it from external? Is it from your sales going down? Is it your, holy crap, we can't pay rent? Or is it like, how were you guys taught about money when you were growing up? Like, what did your parents do?
We both had pretty different
I grew up
raised.
relatively poor for most of my young life until my mom remarried, and then he worked at a rent-a-center kind of guy, and so didn't have money growing up whatsoever. It was always, we can't afford that. And so for me, I probably have some deep-seated, to me, we've actually talked about this, where the sense of freedom I have is that I can go buy ice cream if I want to. It's not that I can go buy a car if I want to. It's just that freedom to not have to like look at the budget if I want to, stop at McDonald's or something like that. It's that where I didn't have that growing up. And so we've talked, and we've built that into our, we've been married for almost 20 years now, this December. And so we've learned to compromise on those things, but that's kind of been my money thing.
Interesting.
I had probably a more traditional middle class financial education upbringing, like go to college, student loans are fine, put away for retirement, have your rainy day fund, like pretty conservative for saving. And so that's where we butt heads, because I do want a budget and I do want to follow the budget strictly.
It's interesting though, because like, we can get philosophical all we want, but like when you're an entrepreneur, those programmings about money can really mess you up. Like let's take the ice cream example. That is it's a double-edged sword, because in one way, it's like what we consider maybe a healthy way is, you know what? If I can take my daughter out for ice cream, that's beautiful. I'm good. But then in another way, it limits you. Like, is life just about being able to go get an ice cream? Like, is there more? Like, what do you do there? Yeah. And then the budgeting thing, like the middle class, these are the rules, just follow these, Dave Ramsey, you know what I'm saying? Like all that can also get you tied like into a railroad track. Because I have kind of both of those. My dad was an entrepreneur, and I saw him feast and famine like my whole life. There was no in between, because he was a brick and mortar in this town. If when the factory closes and 300 people move out, nobody's going to my dad's insurance office, right? Like it's like, but then when things are good and technology comes in and things happen, things boom. So you have this boom and bust. But it's crazy how like that influences us as entrepreneurs, even though maybe our parents weren't like entrepreneurs. Because then where it manifests in my life is I don't want to invest in myself. Like I don't want to like for example, like teeth. I'm just gonna go with teeth, right? Like I know there's a tooth back here that like it's not got a cavity, it's not got nothing, but it just feeling something off back there. I got good teeth. I've never had a cavity. I broke one tooth in half one time. I bit into something in the Bahamas and it snapped a tooth in half. I'm like, are you serious?
Oh.
Then like now I'm paranoid and I know that I should go to the dentist and be like, yeah, just take a look at this. A little ounce of prevention worth a pound of cure. And I'm like, whatever. We'll just fix it when it breaks. You know what I'm saying? But I think that comes from that mentality behind me of like, I know I should like go take care of this. But it's also like, we got stuff to worry about today. I ain't got time for that stuff. I ain't got time for that. Yeah. Do you see those money? Like how do you think your kids are looking at you differently since you're now, I mean, mom and dad's entrepreneurs, mom and dad's work at home. We're going to switch over to Daniel here in a minute in his business, but like they see that. Have you noticed any shifts in your kids' life that might be moving in a better direction than maybe like we were raised, like, or anything that they're kind of picking up on or doing or values that they're seeing from their entrepreneur parents?
It's so hard because I think, for one thing, they don't know any different, because
that's a good point.
They don't know any different. And especially one of the, you and Jocelyn became entrepreneurs because you wanted to be able to, not have to put your kids in daycare. One of the reasons we became entrepreneurs is because we wanted to have the freedom and flexibility to like arrange our family the way we wanted to, have the scheduling that we wanted to be able to accommodate homeschooling and still be able to see each other with a busy. And so we get that. And I think, I hope that's something our kids will appreciate when they're adults and looking back, we'll see with the
or traumatized because they were trapped with their parents every day of their life.
Either way, right?
But they're going to have different damage than we did.
That's so true, Bray. You can't not traumatize your kids. Stop trying, people. You just give them your trauma and deal with it later in therapy. That's all you got to do.
Right. Yeah. And I think it's also just such a different world.
Very different.
When we raised, because, when we were young adults, like college was the thing to do. Now we're raising teenagers and we're like, I'm not sure you should go to college. Like you might be able to do better not going to college, depending on what it is he wants to do.
Yeah.
And if you are, you shouldn't take out student loans. It doesn't have the return on investment it used to. And so there's so many different variables nowadays, but I think that the entrepreneurship has given us such a flexibility that I hope will be something that our kids will benefit.
I want to acknowledge you guys for something here real quick too, because like I remember when you joined the coaching thing that I did when you guys joined it, and it was up in the air if Daniel and Nicole were going to eat. I'm just telling you, it was like they were going all in, all their savings. They took the biggest risk you could possibly take as a family.
Yeah, we quit our jobs first.
Which is not how we recommend anybody do it. But
no. That's the hard way. Yeah, don't quit your job. Make the money, then quit your job. That's what.
That's the way to do it. Really, like less stress.
Living off of savings and giving a chunk of it to Shane for coaching, but it worked.
It paid off. That's called investment, not giving.
That's right.
It's not like I passed the plate, bro. Okay, there was some value exchange.
No, it was huge. It's made such a difference in our lives.
But I want to acknowledge you guys for that. Not just the risk you took, but you said something interesting a second ago. And I think this is kind of like the ultimate thing about being an entrepreneur and like a parent is your kids don't know any different. Mm-hmm. See, you started the game, you started winning in the game, then you got behind in the game, then you started winning again in the game. And like you all been in business now. I mean, you've been doing this business for a long time, but like just 85% of businesses go out of business. And you guys have managed to like push this thing forward, find new ways to grow, find new businesses to start. And now your kids don't know any different than what the life that you've created like for your kids. And we forget that as entrepreneurs, man. We're always judging that money scoreboard. We're always comparing ourselves to others, stealing our joy. When really, if we just look back, like our kids don't know any different about being an entrepreneur, not being an entrepreneur. Although I think there's a reverse effect in my house. Because every time my kids are in high school now and they're starting to move toward college and things like that. And neither one of them look like they really want to start a business. I think they've watched me and their mom like stress the heck out for like years. And they're like, like we're always pushing, always growing. And we're posting on social media and doing all these things. Yeah. And they're like, I'd like to be an optometrist. You might be better off, kids. I'm not telling you what to do.
Yeah.
We kind of get that too sometimes because we'll have our kids come up and be like, Yeah, mommy and daddy's always working, but that's because we love what we do. But the thing
Yeah,
is that we might be always working, but one of us is always available to them. So even
exactly.
with our computer, we get to set up our days so that like one of us is the primary parent. That's what we call it. So we like trade off hours during the day, and whoever's the primary parent, they're the parent on duty. The kids can go to them, interrupt whatever they're doing, and to ask for what they need or just have a random teenager conversation like teenagers like to do.
Yeah.
And we're there for them. One of us is there for them.
That's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. Now, Daniel, your journey is a little different than Nicole's. I feel like Nicole feels like an assassin. She feels like a sniper sometimes to me. Like she's always looking for her next target. You know what I'm saying? Like she's like trying to do something, grow something, writing books, like whatever it is. She's like just scoping the Serengeti looking for something to hunt, right?
I've never heard a hobby that couldn't be turned into a business.
True. That's true.
Everybody listening to this podcast, if you have a hobby, she's really not wrong. We got a bunch of we had a guy come in the other day, join the community. Great guy. I've been talking back and forth with him a little bit in the forums. And he has a website that's getting a lot of traffic all around Magic the Gathering, the card game.
Oh, cool.
And I think I've talked about this before. I've done so many podcasts. I don't even know what I've said. But like I was hugely into Magic the Gathering for like 6 years. Like about my senior year in high school, maybe junior year, we got the first cards at our local shop bookstore, and I just got so obsessed with this game. Like I was playing every Friday night, all the stuff, like it was crazy. And when I saw him come in, I was like, yeah, you can totally do that. And I know he can do it because my boy Pat Flynn, he actually has a business now on Pokemon cards that is bigger than SPI, I think. Like it's insane.
Wow.
Yes, he has a Pokemon channel. He hosted like a 3,000 person card convention like last year. It's just insane. So I'm like, yeah, you can do that. You can turn any hobby like into a niche. All right, but Daniel, your journey is interesting, and we're friends, and we talk all the time. We know these things that are like we all come into our entrepreneurial space differently. Now, when you joined my team, and we've talked about this a little bit, like you were kind of at a low point. You know what I'm saying? When you came in, like you were suffering from some depression. I remember you told me a story one time of you would just walk in your house and lay on a beanbag chair like this, like with your hands and legs spread out. And I'm like, bro, I've totally been there. I know exactly what that feels like on that beanbag
Call it
chair.
melting into the carpet. That's what I wanted to do.
You were just like melting. So take me back to that point, because this is way before you started the wizard stuff.
Oh yeah. It was such a huge life change. So I was a pastor, for 10 years. And then the church shut down. We moved, we had a new baby, and then we started a business like all at the same time. And here I was used to being, a boss, a leader, an influencer of adults who actually respected me and stuff, to now being a dad of 6 kids who could care less what I say while she's over there doing the fun stuff.
It was a relief to me.
And so all those things together did turn into like, yeah, I got really depressed, and like probably for 2 years solid. And it started to shift, honestly, after we started traveling with you guys. It was nice to get out of that, that funk that I was in.
The bubble, the home office bubble, like that's what I like to call it.
Yeah. Yeah, off the beanbag.
Yeah, there's no beanbags in the hotels we go to. You know what I'm saying? You can't just flop down on the floor in the middle of the hotel. God knows what feet have touched that thing. Yeah. You can't do that. Yeah. Do not melt into hotel carpet. That's a bad idea.
No. But yeah, we started traveling, and of course, getting to hanging with you and some of the others that we met, and just making friends and stuff. It was refreshing, honestly. Like how many people get to do that kind of thing, where you just really have this group of people that you love and enjoy. And then of course, hearing about online business like every other week, and all the ways you could start one, it just, started seeping in and stuff. So yeah.
It was inspiring. Like, and we get this benefit because I see it every day in our forums, and we get emails. Like I got an email this morning about an idea I'd never heard of, but I totally clicked, and I was like, that would totally work. Right. And I'm not going to say the idea because they might be listening. I don't want to give away their idea. but like when you are in the room, like the first thing we do in our trainings live or on Zoom or whatever is we go and we figure out why you want to do this. And then we look at what you have to offer. That's your idea. That's your niche. And at our events, we would make everyone write their idea that they picked on a Post-it note. And we had this wall of posters that was hung up, and there was an idea poster. And I just remember like the first time we ever did that, I remember watching 150 people get up and walk to a wall and like write their idea down and post it on the wall. Greatness flows through your lips and your fingertips. And like, then it's like, that's that person's idea with a name on it. And you can't help but go home inspired when you see that everyone has these ideas. Although it can depress you because you're like, what's my idea? What do I want to do next? You know?
That's how I was. And it really, what happened, how it turned into a business. So I've been in programming for 20 years, just do it as a hobby. I learned it in college, like a long time ago when I was in the Navy. Wrote programs for my
fun.
wife for fun, wrote programs for the Navy, for the church, just like constantly doing it because it's fun and it's a hobby of mine. Never thought to do it as a business, but then I was in the coaching program, coaching a lot of these folks that are like starting online businesses. I kind of became known as the tech guy because I had been doing
you became the tech guy. No one else knew what you were talking about. I didn't know.
The automation stuff we did for our own business. And then one of the coaching clients said, hey, can I pay you to do this one thing with like Twilio and a spreadsheet and ClickFunnels? And I'm like, okay, sure. And I did. And next thing I'm like, ooh, I wonder if other people would like to pay me for this.
You can find one. You can find 100 more.
Exactly. That's exactly it. So I was like, hey, I could do this for a business. I joined BNI. I started doing, and my form of networking, marketing is network marketing. So I do networking in BNI and other resources and stuff like that.
What's BNI stand for? What is that again?
Business Networking International. It's
like one of those organizations where you go to dinners and stuff or speeches.
No, it's like a weekly meeting and you share, the cool thing is each chapter, there's only one of your type of business in. And the whole point of it is it's referral marketing. So
gotcha.
You to know each other. And it works pretty well. There's others like it. But so that really just started literally just a year ago. I started this as a business 1 year ago. And it has grown and morphed, and I've really been able to refine and it's so helped that we've spent this time for 5 years with Your Nursing Tutor, learning about marketing and messaging and all those types of things. And so definitely was able to ramp it up way faster than we did.
Yeah, you can't unlearn this stuff once you do it once.
Yeah.
Right.
And so it's been awesome. So I've been able to, meet some of the right people who then brought me into other circles of people, and customers are coming left and right now, and I'm able to raise my rates and all that kind of stuff. So it's been pretty awesome.
One thing I learned from my experience, and actually, it's also why it's why we always start with like community, because you can learn how to do all these things, guys. I'm telling you, it may take you longer if you don't have like a direct plaid and like a course like the Flip Lifestyle Blueprint, but all the information is out there. But the problem is you're swimming in an ocean like all by yourself. So the idea for Flip Lifestyle has always been the community. It's always been like connect awesome people together so they're not alone. That's where like the real magic is. And, I remembered when you told me the story of you on that beanbag chair laying on the floor and just being all depressed. Because I didn't know that like for a long time while you guys were on the road with us, because you showed up one day. I had to fire somebody right in front of you. Like it was just total chaos the time that you came up. I'm like, Daniel and Nicole are never coming back. This was not good. I had to fire someone.
We were just sorry we didn't get there 15 minutes early to see why you got fired.
Right after that happened, and you guys are all just like in this weird mood and stuff. Yeah.
Don't buck up on Shane Sams in the middle of his event. I will turn on you. You do not do. I handled that with grace. You got to admit, I could have went way more mad than I could have had. I'll tell that story on the Shane Sam show. You got to go like and subscribe over there. There's a companion episode maybe to this one. I'll tell that story later for mindset. But like you guys walked in as crazy, but then it was just like we were out on the road and we were doing these things. And I don't remember how long it was when you told me that. It was probably about a year later after you guys joined the team. And you were like, hey man, I was really depressed and I didn't know what to do. And then you called and we joined the team, and like that got you out of it. And I remembered you telling me that when I got depressed. Like my depression came on me in the most unexpected way, because I was like literally just doing my normal workflow. I was sitting right here in this chair, and I remember sitting here, and you guys are around me all the time. I'm just hyper and enthusiastic, and I'm like this most of the time. And all of a sudden I felt this like anxiety rise up, and I felt this like depression kind of like almost sneak up behind me. And I got really like nervous all of a sudden out of nowhere. My nervous system just like went into like fight or flight. So I got up and I was like, I'm gonna go outside for a minute. I walked outside and I sat on my back deck, and I was just kind of looking out at the water. And all of a sudden, all this fear rose up in me, and I just started crying. And I was like, what is going on? I was alone. Jocelyn wasn't here. The kids were gone. And I just, all of a sudden, out loud, I remember speaking this. I went, oh my God, this is depression. And it sent me into a spiral for like 2 to 3 months of just like looking for external cause. Maybe I'm eating something wrong. Maybe I'm not getting up in time. Maybe I'm not sleeping enough. Maybe I've hurt myself. Maybe I've got a brain tumor. I went down every rabbit hole you could go because my mind just got like locked in this thing. And I kind of remembered part of your story of doing that and how you said, hey, I got out there and that kind of started me going. And I realized at the end of this, like when I finally made the turn back to my normal self, depression hates direction.
Mm.
Depression hates direction. Depression cannot exist when you have a direction. I didn't say the right thing. I didn't say the wrong thing. It doesn't matter what you do. It only matters that you do. Mm. And when I just picked a direction, that's what started digging me out of the thing. And like people in business, it's the same thing. Like the direction almost doesn't matter. I mean, there's a million ways to make money online. There's a million kind of ideas that you could have. But when you pick a direction and you do it every day and you're consistent, you're prolific, you're relentless, and you just go, something's going to happen. You're at least going to know you're not making money, but at least you'll know to try something else. Yeah. And it was that direction that really pulled me out of it. And I love how your direction wasn't your dream. It wasn't I've always, my lifelong dream was to be an automations wizard. I've been thinking about this since I was 3 years old. You just got on a train and you just went in a direction and you let that kind of carry you.
Yeah, it led to one thing and then another, and then it finally landed on this one thing. And now I'm like,
exactly.
Oh, this is awesome. And that even this journey doing the wizard thing, I didn't exactly know how it was going to play out. Like some of the clients I ended up working in, a niche I found myself in, didn't set out expecting that.
Couldn't predict it. No chance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Didn't even know it existed before you got started.
Yeah.
Well, that's what you learn as you go. The more I keep thinking I'm going to wake up and know everything.
Yeah.
And then every day somebody just shocks the heck out of me. I talked to this guy, Kevin Depew, who has a guitar membership the other day. He's in the book too. And he was telling me stuff they were doing. And I'm like, the student has become the teacher. Oh my gosh. Like I immediately went back and implemented like some of the things he was doing with like their YouTube channel, just because I was like, I've never heard of anybody like doing this. And it was so simple what he was doing. Like he had this like weekly posting schedule. Oh no, I know what it was. The big thing that blew my mind was, you know me, I love to email people. I love emailing. I'll email you every day. If you're on my email list, buy or unsubscribe. I don't care. Right. So there's only 2 options: join the membership or go somewhere else. But like, I just love to email marketing. But like he had written this cool autoresponder that was like, if you opted into his list, it automatically sent you an email like on Mondays and Wednesdays for like 24 months or something crazy. Like he had just had all of his stuff, but then he randomly emailed you twice. And I was like, oh, I just randomly email all the time. I just get up every day and I'm excited about an email, but I could totally automate that. Like I mean, I have autoresponders, but it doesn't work that way. It was just the way he thought it through. He was like, yeah, as long as I email people on Friday, I catch them Monday, Wednesday, Friday. That's pretty good. And I'm like, you, sir, are a genius. That is absolutely amazing. Right. But you don't know these things until you do them. And like, he didn't know to even email people until he joined Flipped Lifestyle. And then he modified it to meet his needs in his life. And now he gets to bring that back to the community and teach that to everybody else. Right. Yeah. Very, very cool. Yeah. So what are you guys doing next? Like we're in this boat, the entrepreneur boat. We're all paddling in the same direction. Nicole, how has your like evolution of your business like changed, and maybe even the goals or the dreams or the aspirations? Are you just going to keep doing your nursing tutoring forever? Do you want to do something else? Like what's the evolution now this far in?
Yeah, that's a great
journey.
I think.
Do you know the answer?
No. No, honestly,
what do you want to be when you grow up?
Yeah, as I ask myself all the time, I'm like, hey, I've got lots of years left to do things. I had a nursing student who signed up for my membership last month, who's 76 years old. And I have people every day who are in their 20s telling me, am I too late to start nursing school? I feel like I'm so old to start nursing school. And I'm like, I've tutored people from 17 to 76. If you have the means and the desire, it's never too late. But so I think for the foreseeable future, I see myself continuing your nursing tutor. I love working and mentoring our future generation of nurses. to make things better for the profession. But I do realize, I think I've just kind of hit that ceiling. I think we've proven that because we just can kind of get up to a certain point, and then and then we go back down. I'm like, I can't just keep doing more. I have to do something different. And I think that's scary to me. And I think there's a short list of just a few things that I know exactly what they are. Certain types of content to create, and certain new communities to create. So I think one of the next things that's on my list that I did start taking steps on, and I got some accountability partners to make me keep going forward, is to start actually a free, almost like a mastermind, but a free, just open, invitation only membership with some other nurse creators, other nurse entrepreneurs that I've had the
connected with or whatever.
Yeah. Over the years, and just getting us all in the same room together, virtually speaking. And I don't know what the plan is. And like you said, I tend to be a sniper. So I do tend to like to have everything planned out. And that's what's so scary for me, is because I've held off on this for so long, because I don't know what it would be. I don't know what would come of it. But I think I just finally had this, come to Jesus moment a few weeks ago, where I'm like, yeah, I don't know what it's going to be, and I never will unless I just start it.
Yeah.
And so, and the thing that's holding me back is like, well, how much should I charge? Blah, blah, blah. And finally I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to charge anything for this.
Yeah.
Right,
you just want to tap into the knowledge of that place, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. It could open up so many opportunities that I can't even imagine, and have that ripple effect going forward. And so I think just kind of doing that and opening myself up. And then besides that, I think I just need to, buckle down and create some new content on some things that I've had imposter syndrome about, in terms of, videos from.
You mean imposter syndrome doesn't go away?
Not go away. And
no, that's a lie.
I know.
I've not been an imposter in 10 years.
Right.
You're always an imposter at the next level, man. It's just like my kid, Isaac he's a freshman this year. He went into high school, and he was like, man, it really sucks going from 8th grade at the middle school, where you're the big dog, to going into high school as a freshman. And I'm like, that's your life every 4 to 7 years, bro. That's the way it works. Yeah.
It so is. Yep. Yeah. And it doesn't matter if you teach other people about it or not, because I teach my nursing students about, because most of them are adult learners, and they're going back to school after being out of school for a long time, and they feel like they have imposter syndrome, and they've never heard of it because they're not entrepreneurs. And so I teach it to them every day, and I feel it every day too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was watching Anna Joe came down last night. I was actually watching Beetlejuice, because Beetlejuice is coming out, and I was like, I'm going to watch Beetlejuice tonight. So I watched Beetlejuice, and she kept coming in and out of the room, and she was kind of like, are you done? Are you done? This graphics are terrible on this movie. I'm like, because I was trying to get them to watch it with me. I think they're sneaky. I'm going to try and make them watch it before, and I want to make them go watch the second one. But I'm watching this movie, but what she really was wanting, she was wanting to watch a TV show. And I'm in the teen girl stage of my dadhood, and we don't really see eye to eye. And she goes to her room and hides and doesn't do anything. And she ain't going with me to ice cream, Daniel. I'll tell you that much right now, right? I gotta trap her in the car and take her after school and force her to go. But I think last night she was kind of like, well, I was like, you trying to get the living room TV? You want me to get out of here? And she was like, nah. And I was like, oh, crack in the defenses there. And so I stayed, and I was like, what are you watching? And she was like, I want to watch Grey's Anatomy, because she had just heard that it was 21 years old and she likes TV shows. And we were watching Grey's Anatomy. That's a really good show, by the way. I'd never seen one episode of that show, and it's kind of amazing, actually. I was like, at the end of the first episode, when her mom's got Alzheimer's, I almost started crying. And
it hits different when you're
it hit hard. And so we're watching this stuff, but there was a really interesting part that I kind of took note of. They had this girl she was having seizures, and nobody knew what was happening. And all the interns, the whole show, are being just treated like dirt and like scumbags who know nothing, and freshmen, and whatever they are. And but the doctor pulls all the interns in, and he goes, look, I don't care how little you guys know and how much I know, all of us together know more. And here's the file. I got one for everybody. I want everyone to go look at this, because this girl's going to die if we don't solve this problem in the next 48 hours. And one of the interns, who you would never go to for advice, figured it out. Like she read the clues correctly. She all these things. And like that's what reminds me of why communities are important, because I still learn stuff in our forums every day when someone's doing something, sharing something. You getting these people together, it's like we don't know something and that something might work. So let's just all go share and we'll find our piece of the pie. Right. And that's the beauty of what you're doing. I love that you're not like trying to monetize it, because that's the easy thing to do. It's like, no, let's just get them together in a room and we'll all make so much more money on the back end just from working together.
Yeah. And not only that, because a lot of us are entrepreneurs. Not everybody I'm thinking about is an entrepreneur. Some of them are just, nursing professors that don't have a business. But what we all have in common is we really want to make nursing school better. We really want to make the nursing profession something that is not going to be known for burnout,
Yeah.
And if we can just and we're all working at it in our own ways. So let's get us together and see how we can amplify that.
I love how you're up leveling. Do you hang out with any other like programmers or anything, Daniel, or is it just your BNI?
We're loners.
Yeah, I was gonna say programmers don't hang out together. They don't even
hackers trying to take down Twitter and all that stuff. Whatever that's what you're really doing over there. Yeah.
No, programmers are loners pretty much, I'd say. Yeah, I don't meet many of them, but
we're trying to train up our son. He's going to be starting our oldest
robotics
15.
class.
He's going to start a
Yeah,
robotics
there you go.
class.
That's what I'm talking about.
We're hoping to, get him to a point where Daniel can start training him to be able to hire him for to do some stuff in his business.
Maybe. I've tried to get Isaac to do something. He just was like, nah, I'm gonna play soccer.
I don't know if it'll happen or not, but hey,
I was like, you got to get a job or play a sport. And he picked the sport. Go figure, right?
I figure I got 6 of them. One of them will.
Right? You've got shotgun numbers on your side. I'm over here fighting with BB guns, trying to pick one off, and you're just blowing them up. One thing about your all's business is interesting, especially since you're in such different fields. Like Nicole is helping people get through nursing school to become nurses and go into the field. You're equipping entrepreneurs to automate, have more time, and let them be in their genius so they can be more creative and actually run their business.
Right.
And like one thing we talk a lot about at Flip Lifestyle is the ripples. We get these random emails sometimes. Like I got an email the other day, and this guy was like, "Hey, Shane and Jocelyn, you don't know me," and he basically told this big story about how like his life had changed and he was doing all these cool things. But at the end, I was waiting for him to be like, I'm a member of Flip Lifestyle. I was in Flip Lifestyle, but no, he was in someone else's membership. And in that person's membership, they had been on the podcast, and they, as their first module, like, why does this business exist? Like they have the podcast episode in their thing. But that's how he knew that this person started the business in Flip Lifestyle. And then that person's life was changed.
Yeah.
Like, have you ever thought about the ripples, Nicole, of if you get one person through nursing school and that person saves someone's life in their career, like you equipped the person that saved that person's life. And like Daniel, if you give one entrepreneur 10 hours back with their family, a week, let's say 10 hours a week back with their family, that person's with their kids exponentially more over 18 years, right? Like how does that factor into like your business, your entrepreneurship, when things go dipping, like you stay in it? Like how have those ripples like impacted you guys and the businesses you've created?
Oh, it's super rewarding, that's, because it's not, you don't just do it for the money and because it's fun to do. It's super exciting to get to hear the impact that it has.
Yeah.
On people. And then, like you said, that has ripples effects beyond just the here and now. So
things you'll never know. You ever thought about that? You'll just never know how many people are impacted by like what you're doing, like with your business,
Yeah. Like I had one girl who graduated last spring, and a woman, but she graduated last spring. She rarely ever, I don't know if she ever came to any of my live group tutoring sessions. But I recognized her name. She'd made a few forum posts, and she was just telling me how she never would have gotten through nursing school without me. She wished I could come up to pin her. That's like having a pinning is like the thing nurses do before graduation. It's like this meaningful ceremony. And she said she just wished that I could. And I asked her when it was, because I talked to Daniel. I was like, hey, we've got all these airline miles that we're not using now since we stopped traveling with Shane. Like, and I was going to do it, but then she ended up, some things with her schedule happened and it didn't work out. But just the fact that there are people out there. That's the most fun thing for me. Like whenever even Daniel says like, do you want to do your nursing tutor forever? Like I said, that's the one thing is it's the mentorship.
Yeah.
I call myself your nursing tutor because there's nobody in nursing school looking for your nursing mentor. Okay. But that's what they need. But that's what they need. So I sell them the tutoring so that I can get them what they need. Sorry, we got our fire alarm.
Is that your smoke alarm? Hold on, wait. Real life here happening right now. Daniel's like, okay, do you need to go check if your kids have set something on fire real quick? I've been around your kids in fire and I would worry. I'm just telling you, I know your kids.
Exactly what my kids are doing. They're cooking pancakes for dinner.
Okay. Yeah. We burnt some batter, it sounds like. If you can't hear that on the podcast, there's a beeping going off.
They were supposed to start cooking the pancakes right about now. So that they
see, if you were at work, you couldn't hear the smoke alarm and your whole house would burn down.
Right.
Now you get to do that. So
like they handled it.
They handled it. Yeah.
We'll wrap this podcast up so your house doesn't catch on fire. Yeah. But I love you guys. I'm so proud of you guys. It was an honor to like be a part of your journey. It was cool to be able to tell your story a little bit in the book. And man, I just cannot wait to see where we're all at 5 years from now. Because if you could go back 5 years and show us what happened, and now you can, if you just keep doing the ride, like there's no way you would believe it. Right. And I know you guys will be around because you're entrepreneurs, man. You're never going to let it stop. You're living the flip lifestyle. You're with your kids every day. And it's an inspiration for everybody in the community.
Yeah, one way or another, we got to figure it out.
Yeah, man. So you gonna like send us a signed copy of this book or something?
Heck yeah, I am. Of course, I'll sign the chapter you guys are in. Send it out. You'll be one of my 14 people that have the copy of the book. That's what my mind goes immediately to. No one's going to read this. No one's going to buy this. Imposter syndrome. You're not an author. You're a speaker. People listen to you because you sound funny. They can't hear your accent in the book. Although I tried. I really tried. I tried to get it in there. There's a lot of y'alls going on in that book, right? Yeah, so I tried to get the voice out, but I don't know if it'll pass through.
Yeah. Well, for the record, I was about to go to Amazon right after this and just pre-order your book. So
that's what I'm talking about. That's what everybody who hears this podcast, go straight to Amazon, look up Earn More, Live More, Shane Sams, and you got to pre-order the book. All right, Whitworth. Love you guys.
Yeah. All right, man. Bye.
All right, guys. That wraps up my interview with the incredible couple, Daniel and Nicole Whitworth, man. Just entrepreneurs at heart, great parents, and they've really built a life of freedom. Like they are living the life they want. They have the time they want. They have their schedule under control. They're growing multiple businesses. Daniel's got his, Nicole has hers, and they're just doing amazing things. And I remember when they came into the Flip Lifestyle community, and I was so impressed, not impressed by their business acumen, not impressed by everything they had done because they hadn't really done anything yet, right? I was just impressed by one, they just risked it all, man. They pushed it all on black and said, we're betting on ourselves. Let's do it. But just the courage to try, just the courage to take action, to not let depression hold them back, right? To not let mindset issues like imposter syndrome hold them back, or it's never going to be enough to hold them back. Like not let these stories in our head keep us from doing things in the real world. Because in the real world, if you take action, things happen. And no matter how bad things are, it's never as bad as those fears and mindset and those struggles, those stories, that programming from our parents and our communities and our churches or whatever we had in the past. Whatever people have taught us, that's not true. The only thing that's true is what you do. That is truth. In the real world, your actions are what actually matters. Your actions are what make you win or lose. Your actions are what drive the ball forward. Your actions pushing toward a direction will always get you to where you want to be. Jocelyn, my wife, says, baby steps will get you closer to your goals than no steps at all. And that's what we want to encourage everybody to do. That's what my new book is about. It's about rewriting your story. It's about picking up the pen and actually putting it to paper and doing it in the real world, not just letting everything roll around in your brain. It's breaking the task of becoming an entrepreneur up into baby steps, and you just take them one at a time. If you do that, you will earn more, you will live more, you can make money online, and you can build a life of freedom by design that you want. And that's what Flip Lifestyle is all about. So if you want to check out my new book, it's called Earn More, Live More, How to Make Money Online and build a life of freedom. We've got a lot of great stories in there, just like Daniel and Nicole, of real people that have started, built, and grown online businesses inside the Flipped Lifestyle community. So make sure you check that out on Amazon, or you can go over to shanesams.com and you can get a copy of the book. We're going to be having free copies of that book. I don't know exactly how it works yet. We're into the mechanics yet, but I think we're going to have free copies on Amazon. We're going to have some funnels where we can send you a copy of the book. We're going to have a free plus shipping funnel where you just pay some shipping. We'll send you a copy of the book. We want to get that book into everybody's hands. And if you want to learn more about how you can find an idea and you can set a direction and you can move in that direction to see what grows in your life, we'd love to help you inside the Flipped Lifestyle community. Just go over to flippedlifestyle.com. That's FLIPPED lifestyle.com. We have a community of hundreds and hundreds of people. We've helped thousands of people over the years start, build, and grow online incomes, find a niche, find an idea, tap into those talents, those skills, that knowledge, that wisdom, that passion. Like Nicole said, I've never seen a hobby that can't be turned into an online income. We'd love to help you do it. We believe in you. We know you can. All you got to do is get started, and you can get started right now over at flippedlifestyle.com. All right, guys, that is all the time we have for this week's episode of the Flipped Lifestyle Podcast. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss an episode. If you haven't left us a 5-star review and we've done anything to bring value into your life, head over to Apple Podcasts right now. Leave us that review. That helps more people find the show, helps the community grow, and we want to help you grow too. That's why we come back here every single week and we give you another episode of the Flipped Lifestyle Podcast. Until next time, get out there, take action, and do whatever it takes for as long as it takes to flip your life. We'll see you then. Do you ever just wake up in terror? You ever just do that? Here's what happens to me. Whenever things are going really, really good, that's when I'm the most anxious. I don't know why, but as a business owner, it's like sometimes you just wake up and you're like, was all that a dream? Is my life really like this? What's going on right now? What is happening? And then you quell the terror in about 15 minutes and you're like, okay, I'm going to go make a coffee and get out of it.
I don't know. In all honesty, I'm like, oh, when do we get to the point where everything feels like it's going good?